Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge. So it's late at night and I'm out in the shop goofing off. I posted this on Instagram, but I found this old beat up, like cheap Harbor Freight hammer or Chinese hammer. I don't know what the heck it was. I still need to cut the top of the handle off right here so it'll be flush with the top of the hammer head. Focus, you piece of crap. But anyways, you see there's a lot of use on this hammer, both sides, and it's kind of actually mushroomed out a little bit. I'm gonna run that on the belt sander at the other shop and clean it up real good, and probably throw it on the wire wheel and stuff like that, get it all cleaned up, and then I'll finish getting all the shellac and junk off the handle. I did this in my living, or in my kitchen in my house, messing around, bored, instead of watching TV. And turned out to be a pretty cool little hammer. Once this is cut off and this is cleaned up, and you know, I'll put a mirror finish on these, on the head of the hammer or on the face of the hammer, and then stain the handle and put my name on it and stuff. Should be pretty cool. Lots of projects coming up. This project right here is almost done. This thing is absolutely gonna be gorgeous. The bodywork is about 99% done right now. Everything's being blocked out, which is just block sanded and prepped. And after that, more primer, high build primer. Everything's all pretty now, and everything's perfect on the body. It's got a couple little spots that we need to mess around with. Dusty's been working his ass off on this thing. Jay was over here helping him too. He was mostly goofing off. It's good to have Jay back too, though. It's nice to have guys that know what they're doing and work their butts off. And Dusty's really taken over as far as in the shop. He's kind of like a foreman now, where he kind of tells everybody what to do, and he gets in there and puts his head down and works and just makes stuff happen. It's awesome. It's good to have good workers. And all the bodywork on this thing is all finished up, and you can see how crisp all the lines are. Everything's super nice, and it's gonna get it'll get blocked out probably 3 or 4 more times, couple coats of primer after that, and everything's in primer. Every single part of the car, everything's been blocked, sanded, primed, blocked, sanded, primed 1,000 times. People don't realize how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours go into these cars to do a build like this, to get a nice paint job. You know, they think, oh, let's just sand it down and paint it. That's not what happens. These go to bare metal, you find rust, then you get them sandblasted, you find more rust. You got panels and pieces that are missing by the time you're done. And a lot of guys can go and buy parts and weld them on, aftermarket stuff, and that's not what we do here. We go and make the pieces. Like this panel here, there's a run right here in the primer, but this is getting blocked out because this panel's this will be blocked out all right here. The whole car will get blocked out, but a run in the primer, it's not a big deal because this stuff you put on nice and thick. But it was a lot of fun making these panels right here, so that you could stand back and look at the car now, and you could really tell that this is perfection right here. And I'm not bragging or nothing like that. It's just, it's nice to see work come out of the shop like that, and not some hokey jokey crap. All the door lines have been lined up. Everything's just perfect. Nice and straight, and taped off, and then a square put on there and cleaned up and primed and sanded perfectly, so everything, all the door lines and everything, when the doors close on the car, they're going to be perfect. It's a lot of work. Like I said, people don't, they think you just sand the car down and put a paint job on it. That's not what happens. Like right here, there's a little tiny imperfection. I don't even know if you can even see that in the camera. And it's right there. And when this gets block sanded, that'll show up, and then that'll get more primer. Little spots like that. There's a couple little imperfections right here, runs in the primer, and there's spots where it had a little dip or a little divot or a little spot in the primer and it gets more primer. So it's just high build primer, so you can build it up and then sand it back off again. So, you know, this car, I think so far, it's probably got 6 gallons of primer on it right now, and all of it ends up on the floor because it all gets sanded right back off because it's high build primer. So you put it on, sand it off, put it on, block it off, and you just keep block sanding the car until, you know, you could block sand it and it's perfect. There's no more spots that show up, no highs or no lows on the paint job. The 39 is getting real close too. That one will get painted, and then the 57. But we also have a really cool project coming up, and it's a full restoration on a little Willys Jeep. It's a 48 Willys Jeep, which is gonna be really cool. And we'll get that thing, the body will get sandblasted. The frame's already prepped, ready to get all put back together. We'll get the motor back from the machine shop and all that, and then that'll go in there, and the frame will get painted, and it'll be a fast project. It'll go together really fast, but it's one of those things too, you know, once we start making all the panels and stuff for the body, that it'll take a lot of time doing all the block sanding and priming, and same thing on that Jeep. But then also Indian Charlie brought his Indian a while back, and we're gonna do a black cherry paint job on his Indian. If you're listening, Charlie, hope you're doing good, brother. And it should be a fun project though. It'll be a badass bike when it's all done. And we're gonna take it to a couple shows before springtime so that you know, we can get it back to him so he can do all of his riding in the spring. But we got a couple bike shows that we'll take it to. You can see how nice the fenders turn out. And these were all beat up, like just trashed, full of dents, full of Bondo. Everything's been cut out, welded in, new patch panels. Everything's been handmade. All the panels have been really worked over. So you can see all these panels are like absolutely perfect. So when this thing gets painted, it'll be flawless. It's gonna be beautiful. Got the new paint for that. I made myself a list. So there's the Willys Jeep restoration that's coming up real soon. The Indian motorcycle, that's gonna be awesome too. I'm gonna try to start my coach built car pretty soon, but we have a 25 Chevy that we're gonna be building, which is gonna be a fun project. I'll try to video the whole thing and get that all taken, you know, on video so I can post it. And that should be a really cool project. That's gonna be a rat rod. We're not gonna do nothing like a show car or nothing like that. We just don't have the time. You know, when you do stuff like this for other people, you don't have time to do your own projects. So we'll get that thing blown together before springtime. But my coach built car, that's the handmade body car that I'd like to get started on real soon, you know, within the next couple of weeks if everything goes right, but we'll see what happens. But I'll post videos on that too if everything goes right. The big shop, it's gonna get tore apart pretty soon. It's getting new insulation, heater, lights, all kinds of stuff. So it's gonna be badass. But like I said, I'll try to post videos and pics and whatever. Follow me on my Instagram or my YouTube. Give me a thumbs up if you like my channel. And thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support. You guys have a good night. And if you don't hear from me before Christmas, because we're gonna be super busy, you guys have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching.